Good morning, everybody, and thank you for taking some time out of your day here to join us. Today, I'll be joined by Rob Markovitz to be talking through some preset appointment options that we can get you exclusive access to here at IAMS. My name is Isaiah Dawes. I'm a senior annuity sales representative here on our marketing team, and we've got a lot of exciting things that we want to go through with you here today. Before we do get all into that, we're going to go over a few items of why agents love working with us here at IAMS. And if at any point through the presentation you've got a question, go ahead and pop it into that questions box. You don't necessarily have to wait till the end. We'll be sure to get all of those answered for you. We will also have 3 poll questions for you here today, and we'd love your participation on those. So when you do call over to us here at 800-255-5055, just remember you're always going to get a live person and never have to deal with a dial by name directory or anything like that. That's just one of the ways that we kick off our best in class customer service, making sure that we're answering that phone with somebody, and maybe it's the person that you're calling in for, but if not, we'll get you transferred right over to get you taken care of. So getting right into it here. A few reasons why agents love working with us, starting off with our new producer builders. Our new producer builders program is for those of you who are new to IAMS. These bonuses are available based on your production level in your first 180 days of contracting with us. We have different levels that you can qualify for, and as you can see inside each of those levels are some great options for you. We've got incredible business building tools, personal perks for you, and even cash rewards available. So if you would like to know where you stand towards your new producer builder, or if you'd like to have a conversation about how to achieve that next level, just give your sales director a call. We'll be happy to chat with you about that. Another business builders program that we provide for our agents is our referred producer program. I do see a couple producers on with us here today that have already taken advantage of this. Our business on the wholesale side of the industry is very similar to yours in the field. Now, one of the best leads we can ever obtain is a referral from one of our valued producers. So that's why we want to make it worth your while when you refer someone to us. When you do that, we're going to get you a $50 thank you check as soon as that agent is contracted with us. But where the real money comes in is as your referral starts to write business, you're going to receive an override on that business. Our ownership team, Charles, Steve, Curtis, and Chris, they sign checks for thousands of dollars every quarter. So if you think of anyone that could benefit from doing business with our team, please type their information into that questions box, or you can certainly email your sales director or give us a call. We'd be happy to reach out to them to get started. Below that referred producer program, as you can see, is our marketing reimbursement program, which is probably the most popular program that we have here at IAMS. For every $100,000 in FIA premium, you're going to get $100 into your marketing reimbursement account. Why this is so popular and lucrative for our advisors is that we truly do consider this to be your money. You have the flexibility on what services, when, and who to use these funds with. It's your marketing reimbursement, so we don't tell you the vendors that you have to use. We do recommend vendors that we partner with and leverage reduced rates and preferred service, but obviously you can use that marketing reimbursement however you see fit. We also have an in-house creative team here that can create a marketing strategy and provide services for you. So if you'd like to know how much is in your marketing reimbursement account or have a conversation about how to utilize it, just reach out to your sales director. They'd be happy to chat with you further. Next up, I want to cover our back office support. This is another way that we add value to your business. It's a core value of IAMS and how Charles Hiring founded IAMS years ago. We want to help the independent advisor work smarter, not harder. We're going to do that with great business building tools, resources, and of course, our advanced case design assistance. We'll assist with life and annuity quotes, and we're going to get you those illustrations that you can request within 24 hours, but really you're going to receive them much quicker, usually within the hour. Submission to commission support, that's handled by our new business teams. We've got Mackenzie on the annuity side and Michelle heading up the life team there. So they have fantastic teams who work tirelessly every day to help you get that commission quicker. We're also going to scrub applications, submit them on your behalf, do the administrative tracking, and get you updates on those cases as needed. We do this to ensure that you can get commissioned as quickly as possible. And this is a service that we provide to all of our valued producers. And it's a way that we help you grow your business by keeping you in front of clients while our team handles that back office support for you. Next, I'll talk about our IAMS website. This is a great tool for our producers to use and another reason to work with us over here at IAMS. Once you're contracted, you're going to have full access to everything you see on this slide. Really, there's a whole lot more at imsinc.com. So if you haven't registered for our website, it's very easy to do so. When you're done with this call, go ahead and create an account. We'd love to see you on there. There are a lot of great resources that are available to you, including illustration tools, online forums, product grids, news, and industry updates. Those are all out there for you. EAP solutions. So, as I'm sure you're all aware, technology is where the industry is going, and Luma is our newest partnership to streamline the application process. Most of our carriers are now on the Luma Firelight E platform, so you can go onto one site to submit business. Some carriers are going to EAP only for some of their product lines and will also offer extra comp for utilizing the EAP platform. So make sure you ask your sales director before you submit a paper application, because you can earn extra money by just completing and submitting it through the EAP. Luma also offers a life cycle section that allows you to keep track of all of your applications that are in progress, any submitted business that you have, any existing business that you have. It'll keep track of all of that by staying in sync with carrier databases to give you updated information on a daily basis there. So as I mentioned earlier, we do have a full in-house creative team to help your business. They have turnkey items available for you. Many of our sales resources here are white labeled, so we can just simply impose your contact information and your business logos on it. And speaking of logos, if you haven't created a fully customized brand for your agency, we can certainly help with that through Agency Solution. Name recognition grows your market organically, so digital marketing solutions are a very popular topic around here at IAMS. We can help you with websites, social media marketing, email marketing, and a whole lot more. As I'm sure a lot of you know, the internet and social media sites are where the overwhelming majority of prospects go to for information. So making sure you're accessible and represented in those marketing lanes can be very beneficial to growing your business. You can reach out to your sales director or myself after the webinar to talk about how you can access the IAMS creative team, and we can certainly get that ball rolling for you. Going right along with this, we do also offer a complimentary marketing analysis for agents looking to explore new sales ideas and programs. Whether you're new to the industry or a seasoned producer, this is a free assessment that we do to help you boost your business with insights on your website, digital presence, branding, and current marketing activities. We'll also give you some recommendations on trusted vendors for everything from lead generation to seminars and social content. So again, reach out to your sales director to get started with that. We'd love to do a complimentary marketing analysis with you. Next, I want to talk about our IAMS Wealth Management team. This is our sister company, and it's our RIA, and they have two different divisions over there. Obviously, for those of you that do have your Series 65 and are doing assets under management, you can work with them for support on that side of the business. But for those of you that don't have your 65 and have some clients that may have some assets that would be suitable for this, we do have our client direct program, so you can just refer your clients over to our wealth management team to assist with the securities portion of the sale while you handle the insurance side. The way we look at it is basically when you're going into an appointment with a client, maybe they have $500,000 in assets, but maybe only 300,000 of that is suitable for an annuity. If you aren't doing something with that other 200,000, you're kind of leaving the door open for another advisor to come in and potentially steal that client from you. So we wanted to have a solution for you with our wealth management team. So I know we actually had an advisor that was working with them and had about 8 million in assets under management that he had referred over while he was studying for his Series 65. By the time he passed it, all of that business was transferred over to him. So we just wanted to have a solution for you on all sides of the business so that you can best serve your clients. And I will launch our first poll here now. If you're interested in more information on our IAMS Wealth Management team or how to get connected with them, please go ahead and respond. We'd be happy to get you in contact with that team. We'll leave that poll up there for about 30 seconds or so. It looks like we're getting quite a few good responses there right off the rip. So be sure to get your responses in here. Go ahead and give that another few seconds there. Looks like most of the people have responded. So thank you to those who did participate in that. We'll go ahead and close that out. Perfect. Next, I'm going to talk about our life and annuity academies. We typically do about 4 or 5 of these a year at our home office here in Omaha. We bring out about 30 to 35 agents for a 2-day workshop, but it's not life insurance 101 or annuities 101. So if you're brand new to the industry, this probably won't be a fit for you, but we do cover a lot of topics, including sales strategies, marketing strategies, as well as some presentations from our carrier partners on their products and service. And really, one of the biggest value adds that I know many people that have attended in the past have given us feedback on is the ability to network, kind of rub elbows with other producers in the industry that are striving to grow their business and earn more revenue and that kind of thing here in this year. So I think that is an invaluable experience for you there. And I'll go ahead and launch our second poll. We are going to be doing one in April here. The registration for that has already closed. That's the 8th through the 10th, but we recently opened the registration for our May Academy. That's going to be the 13th through the 15th, also at our home office here in Omaha. So um, definitely get some responses into that poll here. We'll be sure to have some people reach out to you to chat about how we could get you out to one of the events this year. Again, getting some good responses in there. So I'll leave that open for another 20 seconds or so. Be sure to get your responses in. Alrighty, perfect. Thank you to those who participated. We'll wrap that up. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Rob Markovitz. I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen real quick.
Hi, people.
Awesome.
Isaiah,
Take it
you're
away,
probably
Rob.
going to have some questions too. I appreciate you taking the time. You'll probably have some questions, so you can just kind of fire those in. And I kind of may refer to you because you've got agents on some of these appointment systems. But hello, everybody. We're grateful you're taking the time today. I know one of the things I love that Isaiah said, and I think it's one of the issues in the industry is the agents get challenged with, hey, how do I have that activity, right? And so one of the issues becomes is you sit here and you kind of turn yourself into a marketer. And if that's what you are, then you need to be a marketer. But if you're in the insurance business, you need to kind of stay in your lane. And so I see some of the agents really get distracted doing that. And IAMS is here to help you, whether it's referring you into, maybe one of the appointments systems I represent, or helping you build a website. You guys aren't more than likely IT, marketing, whatever experts. And so a lot of you spend 2/3 of your day trying to figure out, hey, how do I get this marketing going? And what we see with the people that IAMS refers into my side of the business is we typically see a 2.5 to 3 time increase in their revenue because they're spending that 2/3 of the day where they were trying to, figure out how to market themselves. We're filling their calendar up now with appointments, and they're going on appointments and closing business. So, like I said, part of the issue becomes this, the agents spend, 1/3 of their day kneecap to kneecap and 2/3 of the day trying to figure out how to get themselves in front of somebody. We can fill in that 2/3 of the day. So really that's where the appointment companies, are a big, huge attribute on that side of it. I don't know. Isaiah, are you going to share any slides at all on your side or no?
No, I don't have any
Okay.
slides for you.
So a couple things about the appointment companies. I'm going to just start out with, what they look like, what they do, the markets we work in. So, a few things about the appointment companies is none of the companies we deal with give away anything for free. And I think that's really important. None of them give away free iPads or gift cards or anything else, Starbucks cards to entice somebody to create an appointment. So when they reach out to a client, most of the times they're talking to them about their pension and retirements. And I'll explain where that opportunity is a little bit down the road. But they're like, hey, would you like to learn more about your pension, more about your retirement? They ask them questions along the line, Jay, would you like to know when you can retire? Would you like to know what options are available for income when you retire? Would you like to know how many more years you possibly have to work? Excuse me. With those questions, the client either goes yes or no. If the client says yes, great. The client goes in and schedules the date and the time for the appointment. So one of the other cool things about these appointment companies is since we're letting the client schedule the date and the time for the appointment, the system grabs the appointment and it looks at it. And let's just say it's X type of appointment, and we'll go over those in a second. And it's in Ohio. And Isaiah and I are both opted in for Ohio, and the client created it for 3 o'clock on Thursday. The system would go in and it round robins us on a calendar. It would go, is Isaiah available? Yes, he is, or no, he's not. If he's not, is Rob available 3 o'clock on Thursday? Yes, he is. It would deliver it to my calendar. So one of the cool things about this is, if you win one of the trips that Isaiah first showed you about on this presentation and you're leaving for that trip and you don't want to be bothered, you can block out your calendar. You're going on vacation, you're meeting with a client next Wednesday at 3 o'clock. You don't want to be bothered, say from 2 o'clock on, you block it out in your calendar. No issues on that side. So that's the other thing. The third thing about the appointment setting companies is they create, sell, deliver, confirm one appointment one time for a single agent. So this isn't a lead company. This is actually an appointment company. Most of the companies typically bill you as you go. So there's no prepay. One of the other nice things is, because of your guys' association with IAMS, you have no sign-up fees, no registration fees, no monthly access fees. They get taken care of by IAMS, which is a huge plus on that side for sure. And so that's basically the creation side. The markets that are available for you guys are going to be number one, the K through 12 market. That would be K through 12 employees. I notice some of you people, you go, oh, K through 12 employees, I only deal with high net worth individuals. Well, I have more than, I'm going to guess 10 to 15 people I know of, and not everybody reports to me what they make, but I know I have 10 to 15 clients, that's what I call you agents, that make in excess of $600,000 a year working the K through 12 market. So I know it might not sound really sexy. There's more millionaires married to school teachers than any other people. It's a huge market. It can be a big asset. The next one's going to be the college market, university market. That's another separate market. All these markets are done by state. So what's cool is, hey, if you're multi-state licensed, you don't have to be stuck in your state. The appointments are usually virtual. Typically, that first appointment's kind of a fact finder. We'll go over kind of what goes on the appointments in a second. The next one's going to be the city, county, municipalities. So think police officers, firemen, city, county, municipal workers. That's another area to go. And the last one's going to be the federal market. I do like the federal market. The only one challenge there is the appointment costs are a little bit higher, and we're going to go over cost in a minute. But back to some of the markets, I know, Isaiah, you had brought up the security side, your RIA side, and we have some agents. I've got a close friend of mine. He's in Arizona. He's been buying appointments from me for about 10 years now. Guy named Kevin, and he's a securities licensed person, just runs the universities, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, and Idaho, I believe, as I remember off the top of my head. And he's moving between 20, 25 million AUM a year off our appointment. So that's a whole nother phase to it. So if you're securities licensed, I saw a group of you on there. It's typically about 35 to 40% of the clients that I have are securities licensed. And some of them love that university market because they run into, they might be appointed with, Fidelity or TIA or whoever, and they're running into, those 401As with the professors and the university employees. So that can be an opportunity as well. The other thing that I would talk about next, federal market. I know there's a lot of you guys excited in the federal market. What's cool about the federal market is a little easier on appointments because if you're doing pension retirement reviews, the federal market, it doesn't matter if you have a client from California and one from Florida, the pension calculation is the same comparison to if you had a university professor from California and a university professor from Florida. You have to know the FRS in Florida and the CalPERS, CalSTRS system in California. There is software available out there, so you can use what's called, there's retire ready software, or better known as Track. So maybe some of you guys are using that already. And that can be very beneficial to be able to use for, these appointments because you are doing a pension retirement review. Isaiah, do you have any comments at all on anything or questions, way you want to direct me before I keep moving?
I don't see any questions in the questions box yet, so I think
Okay.
we can keep on going.
So, the next thing is, on the contract side, hey, what do I have to do? Now I'm specifically thinking about the appointment companies, not IAMS, but most of these companies have no contracts, so there's no minimum amount of appointments, no maximum amount of appointments. Most of them, like I said, you're not prepaying. Isaiah, do you want me to discuss dollar amounts on appointments, dollar costs on appointments?
Yeah, that could be good. And kind of just
Okay.
like the,
Okay.
if there's any setup fees or registration fees or anything like that.
Yeah, that stuff, like I said, gets taken care of for, everybody that comes through IAMS. So that basically gets taken care of by IAMS for you as an agent. But, as far as the appointment costs go, they're going to start at about $64. And then they're going to go up from there depending on what market you want. But K through 12 college, city, county, municipality, you're going to be in general at $64 and up. And 64 to 69, there's one company at 75. And then the next thing is going to be federal markets. Most of the federal appointments are going to start right around $100 per appointment, 99 bucks, which is a VIP price. Most of those outside prices on that are going to be 125. There are a few companies that do offer some 59 plus age categories, both in college and in, I think, college, city, county, and federal. So that might be something to think about, if you want to do just 59 and older. Those appointments are quite a bit more expensive, but we can fill you in on that later. Next thing is, basically, Isaiah, I think it's important to talk about, what's sold on the appointments, what goes on during the appointments. And, I always talk about, the first appointment, basically a fact finder. The goal of the first appointment is to set a second appointment. But basically during the process, and really, I think why these appointments really help people, when I've talked to agents in the past, groups of agents, it's funny, I'll ask questions, hey, what are the two biggest challenges in the financial services industry? And, typically what I hear is number one is always, hey, how do I meet somebody? That's pretty easy. It's not really meeting somebody. Meeting somebody's easy. I was talking to a group of 10,000 agents one time. I had somebody say that, hey, it's meeting somebody. And I jump off the stage and I put my hand out and I go, hi, I'm Rob. And the guy goes, I'm Steve, or whatever his name was. I think it was Phil. And I go, I now know Phil. So introducing and meeting somebody is pretty easy. It's how do you get them to push the finances across the table? The cool thing is, since these appointments, we're not giving away anything for free. They are planning on having a pension retirement review. So they are planning on showing you the money, so to say, what they have and what they don't have. So that's a help on that side. The second biggest challenge I probably hear out of agents is, hey, everybody I meet that has a job and has some income already has a financial advisor, and how do I get around that? And so that's another really big one. Well, the nice thing is and I'll go back to my group of 10,000 agents. When I talk to those guys, I'm like, hey, raise your hand if you currently have a police officer, a fire person, a city county municipal worker, a professor, sorry about that, a school teacher, a this, that, whatever it is. Um, somebody that participate in a pension, raise your hand. Well, literally, I have 10,000 hands in the air. And I'm like, now keep your hand up if you've ever reviewed their pension. There were 5 hands up out of 10,000. So the opportunity becomes is you may run into some of these people that go, well, I already have a financial advisor. Well, that's great. Have they ever reviewed your pension? No. And really that process, and I'm going to kind of compress that appointment a little, Isaiah, and you might want to chip in on this a little bit, but during that process is, I can tell you is 91 to 92% of the people that participate in a pension have no clue what they're going to retire with. So, typically that conversation sounds like, hey, Sally Sue, school teacher, what do you think you're going to retire with? And she says, 80 grand a year. Where'd you get the 80 grand from? I've been teaching for, 18 years and I've been making 80 grand the last 3 years. So I assume with my time of service and I'm making 80 grand, I'll retire with 80 grand. Great, Sally. You told me you had a financial advisor. Did he not go over this with you? No, why? Well, can you retire on 42,000 a year? So what, and she's going to say no. So what these people are unaware of is there is a pension shortfall, and it usually ranges in that area of 30, 25 to 40, 45% in most states. And so, somebody thinks, hey, I'm going to retire with 100 grand a year. No, you're going to retire with 60, and you have a $40,000 shortfall. And so, the next step from there is, Sally, hey, can you retire on 42,000? Well, no, why? Well, let me take you through the calculation, and you'd show them the calculation. I can't believe your advisor didn't go over this with you, right? And so I've seen many, many times where, a securities licensed person that's been in the business for 25 years, taking care of a client, thinking they're taking care of a client, right, has been basically had the rug pulled out from him. Somebody that's been in this business, that's well trained, that's been in it for 2 years because they're reviewing their pension. And it's a real easy way to kind of throw somebody under the bus. Hey, I can't believe he hasn't gone over this with you. Hey, Sally, so I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is you have, 42,000, a little over half your expectation taken care of. That's the 42 grand. The bad news is you're 38,000 short. Sally, what did your financial advisor put in place? Well, it's nothing because they never reviewed it. Well, what do you have in place? Nothing because they didn't know it existed, right? And then it's help. And from there, we kind of see the paths go down two different roads. In the school districts, we do have some agents that do and access what's called a payroll slot in the school district. It's not something you have to do. Most of the agents are going in and filling that shortfall in with a life policy or an IUL, an annuity, whatever they want to do, whatever's best for the client. But some of the agents go, oh, well, hey, there's a, availability with, Sally Sue's got a $100,000 403B set up. And what a lot of agents don't know is that 403B can be moved, whether she's 33, 43, or 53. She doesn't need to be 59 and a half, doesn't need to have separation in service, so long as there's other retirement vehicles available through the school districts, other 403Bs, and then you'd have to be appointed with them. So a great example might be North American. I know you guys have, Isaiah, you guys carry North American contracts, probably National Life Group as well. Those two carriers have 403B products. You could walk into a school teacher that just says 43 years old and she has $100,000 shoved away in her Voya account. She hasn't seen anybody in 18 years. That 100,000 can be rolled out of that 403B with Voya into the new 403B with either North American or National Life Group, provided that payroll slot exists. And so those agents are just going, hey, Sally, there's another retirement vehicle available through the school district. They have a bonus incentive going on, blah, blah, blah. And they do that transfer. The agents that don't go down that path are going to be more in the or we have some, I have some life licensed only clients that work in the college market. And what they're doing is, they can't touch the 401A because they're not with Fidelity and they're not with TIA and they're not securities licensed, right? So what do? They go through the same process The only difference is at the end of the good news, bad news is they're a little bit more of, hey, Sally, I'm a little concerned about your plan, your financial advisor's plan. He didn't tell you're only going to make 42 grand, didn't tell you're $38,000 short, didn't put anything in place to cover it. I'm just curious, did he let you know you're going to have some tax liability, not only on your 401a, but also your pension? Well, typically they'll answer it with three answers, or three responses would be: number one, no; number two, how much do I owe? Well, it seems like, we can only estimate, Sally, but it seems like taxes are doing what? They reply, going up, which is kind of a natural response. And the third thing is, hey, what can I do to help avoid the taxes? Well, life license people, what they do is, hey, what other funds do you have laying around? Oh, I've got, 100 grand under the couch over here. Great. Let's take 50,000. Let's set you up an IUL, right? Or an annuity, whatever it is. And instead of you contributing, your $3,000 a month to your 401a account you have that's pre-tax, let's stop that and contribute to it post-tax, right? So when you retire, Professor Sally, you're going to have, a taxable pension bucket, you're going to have a taxable 401a, and then you're going to have the third bucket we just created for you that's post-tax. That's going to be a non-taxable bucket, basically. And so that's really what we see happen on the appointments. Isaiah, I don't know, do you want to chime in a little bit on what you see with your agents that have been on the system?
I think you did a pretty good job covering it there, but I do have a couple of questions that came in as we were going here. For somebody that hasn't done any of these preset appointments before, so for kind of a beginner, which market segment would you recommend would be the best place for them to start?
I still think that the K through 12 market is really a good market. I mean, there's really some good access. I see a lot of good production out of that market. It's a little easier. You're going to be, sometimes you get in with the university professors and they're a little bit more knowledgeable. I think the other thing is too, the referral rates. The referral rates across all of our appointments seems to be really high for, I call them introductions, not referrals, but seem to be extremely high. I just like that word, introductions, better. But it's probably a little higher in that K through 12 market as well. So, I've got some clients that pay, they're not through IAMS, they're paying substantially more for their appointments. But, one of the guys in particular, he told me, he goes, man, these appointments are great, and he goes, they only cost me 20 bucks a piece. And I go, what do you mean I'm billing you $100? And he goes, well, yeah, but he goes, I get about four referrals out of every appointment, four introductions out of every appointment. And because he asked for them, And so I would say that would probably be the best market, Isaiah, to probably start, would be the K through 12 one.
Okay.
Just get your feet wet,
Yeah.
so.
And then another one, basically asking appointments equal individual leads. I can kind of answer that. Basically, I mean, yeah, it is an individual lead. You're not buying a
It's an
group or
individual and
anything
it's not
like
a
that.
lead, it is an appointment. Yeah,
Right.
it
The
is an
difference is it
appointment. So
is
the
you're
client is
setting a
going
time on
in,
your
selecting
calendar.
the date and the time, right? And on their calendar, basically, they're going in and going, hey, I want to meet at 3 o'clock on Thursday. Like I said, the system grabs the appointment, looks at it, and goes, agent, who's opted in for K through 12 in the state of Florida? Oh, Rob and Isaiah are. Is Rob available? No. Is Isaiah available? Yes. Bam, it delivers it to his calendar. So that is the big thing, that determines the flow of appointments too. I know Isaiah sometimes, and I say this with caution because Isaiah, you and I both seeing it, but we usually tell agents, hey, when you first start out, make sure you're blocking out your calendar, don't leave it wide open. Some of you guys have been on appointment systems before, and I've talked to you on the phone and individually before you get going on any one of these systems. Isaiah or the team over at IAMS will refer you back to me so we can have a one-on-one talk. But we've had agents go in, they leave their calendar wide open. Well, there's some agents that take 6 appointments a day, which I believe is way too many. So hopefully the appointment companies aren't listening on this. I mean, I know they're trying to sell appointments, but so you want to be careful on how much availability you have as well. On that side of it for sure. So because Isaiah, we've seen that, right, where agents have their calendars wide open and they get, 4 appointments a day for 5 days in a row, and all of a sudden they've got 20, 25 appointments for the week.
Yeah,
And it's a
definitely.
little hard because you got to remember you have second appointments from these first. So
Hmm.
you want to give yourself a little bit of space.
Right. And then on top of anything else
Any
that you're
other,
working
you
on
have
in
any
that
other
market.
questions pop in there?
Those are it for now. Can you talk a little bit about just kind of the logistics of how the appointments actually get put on their calendar? Is it just as simple as them linking their calendar to the system, or?
So yeah, that's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up. So most of the systems will sync with either Google or Outlook. If you have a commercial Outlook account, a lot of times you're going to have to open a Google account and sync it with that. But we basically, um, you know, I can only think of one, maybe one of the companies that has a little issue with the Outlook sync, but all the other ones, they're syncing with Outlook and Google. But you can go ahead and link your calendar. And when you link your calendar, it's looking at that for open availability. So that's pretty easy. Sign up registration process and this stuff, simple, Simon. You talk to Isaiah and the team pass you along to me. We'd have a discussion, decide which appointment company fits you best based on what market you want to run and what state you're in. And then from there, basically, I send you out a registration link. You'll go in and register during that registration process. Most of them you'll register right away. They go ahead and within, you know, 24 hours approve you. So you don't really have access right away. They send you a password with that approval. Says you've been approved. You get a password. You'll be able to go in. From there, you'll be able to link your calendar and or just use their calendar system and block it. You don't have to link the calendar if you don't want to, but if you're currently using one, I would suggest you do that. And then next thing, put your credit card in, block that calendar out for any time you don't want appointments. You'll go select your markets. And then after that, that's basically it. You'll tell them you're ready to roll. And typically it depends. I like to say 3 to 5 days before you'll see your first appointment. That's usually the scenario. It's rare when you sign up and get an appointment right away. The other thing is the earliest they'll deliver an appointment is typically no earlier than 24 hours out. So you don't have to worry about going to bed at midnight tonight and all of a sudden at 2 in the morning, somebody creates an appointment for 7 a.m. because you had an opening on your calendar. The system wouldn't let them do that. It won't let them create it for a day out. So there is a 24-hour kind of grace window in there. Um, so you don't have to worry about that stuff. Any more in there, Isaiah?
Yeah, a few more coming in here. Um, One asking how they can connect with you to schedule next steps. We can have your sales director reach out to you here with Rob's contact information and his Calendly link to schedule an appointment with him. That's certainly something we can get over to you to coordinate that. As far as what you would recommend for new appointments, how many should you buy initially, like on a weekly basis?
I would say, I tell agents to start out slow. We want you to have success. For me, I have agents ask me, hey, why do you represent so many different appointment companies? It's because I want you to have ROI. And I mean, a lot of you are out there have probably been on some kind of lead or appointment type system and not had success. But I would say, somewhere in that 5, 6 area is probably a decent start. And then you can, and each agent's different. Isaiah, we see it all the time. We have some agents that go in and go, hey, now that I'm all warmed up, I want 4 appointments a day. Some agents have built a huge business and they're just looking, hey, I'm just trying to fill some vacant time slots I have. And, I have 3 or 4, 5 open slots a day. That's all I want. Hey, I'm semi-retired, but I'd like a little activity. I want to take 4 or 5 appointments a week. So, I mean, it just depends on an individual basis, on what you can handle. I mean, like I said, I do have some clients that take, 6, 7 appointments a day, every day, which I feel is too many, but they're able to handle it and they've been buying those for years. But I would say start out with that 5, 6 area, would be a good one. I know one of the other things that comes up, Isaiah, and I don't know if it popped in there, but I get this a lot from agents is, hey, what's the close rate on appointments? And it's ironic, but close rates follow you, the agent. They don't follow the appointment system. And proof in that is I have a client of mine, it's been a client of mine for about 8 years, 9 years now, just works K through 12 market. He's been on uh, he's been on 5 or 6 different appointment systems, and right now currently is on 2 or 3 different appointment systems. And his close rate's always been right around 60, 65%. I would say that's a little bit high. He's pretty much an expert in what he does. Not that you can't hone your skills to get there, but I would say expect to close 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 in the beginning, to be in that, 20, 25% area. I think that's probably what we see typically. Wouldn't you say that, Isaiah?
Yeah, I'd say that's a lot more um, accurate, especially to your point, if you're still kind of getting new to some of these markets segments that you're looking at
Yeah,
running appointments in.
yeah,
Um, Another thing real quick, because you did mention federal appointments. IAMS does have a federal bridge training program. I see Rick in the comments here. He's the one that runs that program for us. He mentioned that. So if you are interested in getting into the federal space and running federal appointments down the road, we do have a solution for you to get trained up on that market segment as well.
yeah. And that's a great program too as well. Like I said, one of the things that's nice about the federal market is, you can run multiple states, not a big deal, because once you learn how to, analyze and do the federal pension, it's really easy to kind of spread your wings. And I mean, I have many, many clients of mine that are opted in on federal appointments that take appointments from 15, 17, 19 different states because of that, right? But that training program that you guys have, I know is great. So I've heard some good feedback on that one for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, and we will be doing a webinar on that next week, I believe on Tuesday. So that's an option out there as well. One thing I am going to do real quick here, Rob, is throw up
Yep.
my last poll for anybody that's interested in setting up an appointment with Rob to chat further about potentially getting going on some of these programs. Definitely go ahead and respond there, and we'll be sure to connect with you here after the webinar to get you his contact information and his Calendly link and everything like that for you. Rob, I'm not sure if you had anything else you wanted to go over. We do still have some
No, I
time
mean,
left here.
really that's it. I think, the big opportunity here, what I love about what IAMS does is, everybody, we're into the second quarter of the year, almost into the second quarter of the year already, and God, how time flies, right? But a lot of these agents and a lot of people in general, hey, 3 months ago you set up a goal, you know, and whether it's, hey, I want to make 250 or 500 or a million or whatever the number is, right? But when you don't change anything and you don't put a system in place to get there, you're going to end up in the same spot. So it's kind of like a combo deal. Number one, you got to check the scoreboard, which is lacking in a whole lot of people. Where am I right today? Hey, if I wanted to make $1 million this year, well, you better be close to $250,000 worth of income already today, as we speak. And usually the people that meet their goals know exactly where they are, but the ones that typically don't, where I don't see any of that change, is because they don't do anything different. Isaiah, you see the same thing. Hey, they don't jump into, I need to get maybe some of my contracts moved. Yeah, maybe you're comfortable where your contracts have been. Some of you probably on this phone call maybe aren't with IAMS, maybe you're with somewhere else, and maybe that group's not taking care of you, and so um, I always have a saying, liars figure, but figures never lie, right? And so the numbers are the numbers, but if you want to meet success and get there, it's really important that you change along the way. And so I think that's where a lot of the opportunity lies,
Definitely.
is by doing something different. So next step with us would be, get a hold of Isaiah and the group over at IAMS and lined up, and they'll get you lined up with me. And we can have you up and running on appointments, in a quick hurry. That's for sure. That's not a big issue on that side. There are no restricted areas, you know. Um, so we don't restrict things. If you go, hey, I want to run Texas, we don't go, hey, Texas is full. We don't do that. We give everybody, so to say, equal opportunity on that side of it. So, there's a lot of opportunity to take your business to the next level, and maybe it's not with one of the appointment companies that I represent, but I know Isaiah, you guys over at IAMS too have some other companies that I don't represent. So, if you get a hold of the team at IAMS, they'll talk with you a little bit, see where you're best fit, and then we can have a discussion, because I know, like I said, there's a couple other things over there as well.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate that, Rob. I'll go ahead and wrap up this poll here. Thank you to those of you who did participate there. And then I will go ahead and share my screen here just for some final comments. We are on Facebook and LinkedIn, so please go ahead and follow us and connect with us there. We'd love to see you on social media. We're always posting industry updates, IAMS updates, things of that nature to make sure that our agents are staying in the know while they're out there in the field. And then lastly, as always, our contact information, you can give us a call at 800-255-5055. We'd be happy to chat with you further. Visit us at imsinc.com. And if you haven't created an account on there, definitely go ahead and do so. But at that point, this is it for us today. Thank you so much again for everybody who joined us. Thank you to Rob for taking some time to go over this with us today. We'll be talking to you all soon. Have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, everybody.